I'd like to welcome you, but I think at this point you're probably ready to hear something a little different. I came to COA knowing exactly where I'd be in 4 years. In the woods, living entirely off the land, using handmade tools, hunting wild game, and living in a primitive shelter. Above all else, I wanted to remove myself from the dependencies of society and live content in peaceful wilderness. When I arrived at COA, I co-founded a primitive skills group with some friends. We met weekly and practiced the art of making fire using a bow drill. About halfway through the term, we visited a weekend primitive skills workshop and learned about shelter building, edible plants, hunting, traps, etc. By the end of term, we decided we had enough knowledge to head into the woods for a weekend, with no shelter and only minimal supplies. We built a wickiup for shelter, ate flour and water, bread, patties, and froze ourselves in an attempt to sleep in our shelter without sleeping bags. After all that, I couldn't imagine a year of the wilderness lifestyle. Sometimes it's nice to find food in a store and not in a field, eat on a table and not off the ground, or help someone else and not just myself. I've realized that I'm not yet ready to live full-time in the woods, and I have more pressing work to do first. I now see myself wearing a suit and tie to work every day and living in the heart of a thriving metropolis. I'm still passionate about the wilderness experience, but I now balance that with my societal responsibilities. I want to be an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, and I'm improving the lives from within the system. As graduates, all of us, we have each blazed our own unique path through COA. This invaluable educational freedom creates nothing but opportunities. Over the course of our studies, we've been able to take any course we were interested in, ignoring all constraints except those we imposed upon ourselves. In this way, we are different. We turn the idea of a major on its head. Rather than being handed recipes, we are given few ingredients and told to find the rest and make a meal out of whatever comes up. I found this process especially difficult and uncomfortable. My logical brain continues to demand a fixed definition of the degree I'll place on the wall. But I'm coming to recognize that it's an impossible task. And I'm realizing that's okay, because our degree is different. It's not something static to print and hang on the wall, but instead a constant work in progress, which is edited and improved, deleted and rewritten. As we begin to blaze our paths beyond the COA horizon, I hope we can continue to be unique and dynamic, walking where we feel like, even if that means finding ourselves where we least expected, or with a meal that tastes nothing like what was intended. Above all else, I hope we do not lose those things that make us different. Our differences define us. They make us unique and valuable, and our differences are what have brought all of us to the coast of Maine, to this fine institution. We are a community of those who think and act differently. We are a community of misfits. It's true. We are a difficult community to describe to outsiders or even to ourselves. But I think I found a fitting quote. It's from an Apple advertisement, but don't let that diminish its impact. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, disbelieve them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They invent, they imagine, they explore, they heal, they create, they inspire, they push the human race forward. Maybe you have to be crazy. Or else how can you stare at an empty canvas and see a work of art? Or sit in silence and hear a song that hasn't yet been written? Or gaze at a red planet and see a laboratory on wheels? While some may see them as the crazy ones, I see genius. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Thank you.